Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Bang Bang Chicken Nuggets. That's right, I'm going to show you my take on Bang Bang Chicken, which actually might be closer to Boom Boom Chicken. Right, this is kind of both. So what I'm trying to say is, I'd really love it if you called this Bang Bang Boom Boom Chicken. Oh yeah, people are going to enjoy saying that, but not as much as they're going to enjoy eating this. And to get started, we'll go ahead and cut up some chicken for our nuggets. And for this, I use both boneless, skinless chicken breast and boneless, skinless chicken thighs. But this will work with all one or the other. And all we need to do to prep this is cut it into like 1.5 inch strips. And then we'll simply slice across that every inch or so to create some hopefully fairly uniform pieces. And yes, as you can see from the dramatic shadows, I did this early in the morning, which is not common for me. Right, I'm normally not up and working until the crack of noon. But anyway, once we have our chicken cut up, we will transfer that into a food processor, along with the rest of our nugget ingredients, which will include some breadcrumb, some salt of course. We'll also do some freshly ground black pepper, a little bit of paprika, which could be regular or smoked. And then I think we definitely want a little bit of cayenne, because bang bang. And then we'll finish up with some garlic powder, as well as a little drizzle of oil, just for a little extra richness, and to help keep our nuggets moist and tender. And that's it, we'll pop on the lid and pulse this on and off until our chicken's ground as finely as we want, which for me is not going to be super fine. Okay, if you want these closer to a fast food nugget, which is basically a piece of fried chicken loaf, you'll probably want to grind this a little smoother. But personally, this is what I'm after. Okay, a pretty small grind, but it's definitely not pureed. And that's it. Once our nugget base has been blitzed, we can go ahead and scoop equal-sized portions onto a sheet pan. And I'm thinking a couple tablespoons is just about the perfect size. Although obviously that's something you can adjust, depending whether you want little adorable nuggets, or even bigger, more bodacious nuggets. And other than the frying time, the procedure will be exactly the same. So you go ahead and make the call. I mean, you are after all the Pistol Pete of portioning your ground meat. And speaking of balls, instead of forming nuggets, which is what we're going to do next, you could actually serve these as fried meatballs, which I think would also be very well received. But anyway, once portioned, we will wrap those up and pop them in the fridge so they're nicely chilled and easier to work with when we coat them with our starch, which is going to be nothing more than some cornstarch mixed together with some self-rising flour or just regular flour with a little bit of baking powder in there. And if you go that route, we'll explain that in the written recipe. In any event, we'll mix that very thoroughly in a bag, and we will pull out our soon-to-be nuggets. And what we'll do is quickly form these into balls by first wetting our fingers a little bit so the meat doesn't stick. Oh yeah, as you well know, damp hands make smooth balls. And what we'll do is toss 5 or 6 in at a time, and then we'll shake them and toss them around until they're well coated, before shaking off the excess and returning them back to the pan. And on the recipe, it's going to say you're going to get 24 nuggets out of this batch. But as you can see, I got 23. So if you want 24, make them a little smaller. And then what we're going to do once all those have been dredged is shape those into nuggets, which of course, depending on where you eat them, will vary in size and shape. But for me, I kind of go with a flat oval. But hey, if you prefer a little bit of a pointier nugget, that is not going to bother me. And then what I like to do once all these are coated is pop them back in the fridge, which I do uncovered, but you can cover them if you want. And I like to leave them in there for a couple hours to really give that starch on the surface time to adhere. But if you're starving, you can pretty much fry these up anytime you want. And while those are chilling, we should go ahead and make our bang bang sauce, which starts with some mayonnaise, to which we will add some honey. And once we do some sweet, we will add some heat in the form of some sriracha hot sauce. And I like to add a lot, but of course that's going to be to taste, just like the honey is. And then for my version, we'll also add some rice vinegar, as well as some soy sauce, plus a little bit of sesame oil. And then last but not least, a little bit of ground Szechuan peppercorn, which is totally optional, but highly recommended. And that's it, we'll give this a thorough whisking until it's all combined, at which point we'll give it a taste and adjust with more sweet, or in my case, more heat. And that's it. Once that's tasting exactly how we want, we will simply refrigerate that until needed. And then as far as how to cook the nuggets, I'm actually going to shallow fry these in vegetable oil over about medium-high heat. Although I should mention for the full chicken nugget effect, they're supposed to be deep fried. But this really does work out almost exactly the same. And please keep in mind, these are going to get tossed with our Bang Bang sauce, so they're not going to stay super crispy anyway. And what we'll do is cook that first side for a couple minutes, or until we've achieved a nice golden brown, at which point we'll flip them over and give the other side a couple minutes. And if you are doing these in batches, or doing a whole bunch, you can just keep the ones you fried in a warm oven until they're all finished, which is what I did while I fried the other half of the batch. And that's it. Once fried, we can transfer those into a mixing bowl, and we'll toss in some freshly sliced green onions, and we'll pour over a couple nice ladles of our Bang Bang sauce, or just enough to coat, and then we can serve the rest alongside. And that's it. We'll toss and stir those until they're coated. And by the way, the recipe is going to make lots of extra sauce, which is nice since that stuff's great on like 1,000 other things. And then once our nuggets have been sauced, we'll go ahead and plate up. And once I had those piled up, I gave them one more drizzle of sriracha before I finished up with some more sliced green onions. And that's it. What I'm calling Bang Bang chicken nuggets are ready to enjoy. So I grabbed a fork and stabbed a nugget and went in for the official bite. And that, my friends, if you're a fan of sweet and spicy sauces like I am, is going to be an incredibly delicious bite of food. And I enjoy that whole sweet heat thing on pretty much anything. But when we're talking about a homemade chicken nugget that's been fried up to have that nice crispy exterior, which holds on to our sauce so perfectly, we produce something extra special. And because I didn't puree the meat, these do have a texture reminiscent of a meatball, or maybe like a dumpling filling, which totally works for me. Oh, and fun fact, people assume the Bang Bang refers to the spiciness of the sauce, but it actually doesn't. Right, the original Bang Bang chicken got that name because the chicken was pounded with a stick, and apparently the Chinese word for that is bang. And apparently that original version is flavored with sesame and vinegar, and definitely did not contain any mayonnaise, which is why I mentioned this might be closer to Boom Boom sauce. But whether you call this Boom Boom chicken or Bang Bang chicken, or my personal preference, Bang Bang Boom Boom chicken, this would be a hit on any occasion, whether that's a Super Bowl party or just a casual weeknight meal. I really did love everything about these, which is why I really do hope you give this a try soon. So please follow the links below for the ingredient amounts, a printable written recipe, and much more info as usual. And as always, enjoy.